Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another State of podcast. Today, you know me, it's Ernesto, chilling. Today with me I have a different guest, another one of my friends, of course. That's probably what the next few guests are going to be. We're at my recording studio, which isn't my recording studio. It's my friend's house, and he lets me come over to record. If you hear anything in the background, that's who it is. And any acknowledgement outside of the discussion is what that is. We'll try not to do that too much because this is a pure audio podcast. After all, we can't do visual gags here because if we did, then the editing would take way longer than what it really does. So that's enough of that. So anyway, today with me is my boy Chris, or whatever you want me to call you.
Yeah, Chris.
So you want to call you Chris? So
yeah.
Chris, man, tell us about yourself, bud.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm Ernesto's friend.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm just young, dumb, full of questions about life.
And that's what we're here to answer on today's show. So, Chris, man, so tell me, man, you're telling me about like your opinion on AI and stuff. By the way, just a fair warning, we are not experts in anything.
Nope. not a coding expert, not a AI analysis, no doctorate, no engineering masters in anything. We're just some guys look at AI and we're just like, is this good or bad?
Yeah, we're just trying to answer some questions. So I just want to do that. So our opinion should not be taken serious on any of these topics. So anyway, so Chris, tell me about it, man. You're talking about AI. What's going on with that, bro?
Oh yeah. So one of the ideas that I've viewed a video about is the idea of how people are connected so much to the internet, and the idea that this internet's being run. Well, it's not being run, but maybe will be run by an AI that will talk to you and will say, "What do you want to watch?" in a female voice, though, and that's the question: why in a female voice? Why is it that a lot of AI's voices are female? You know?
Yeah.
Is it comforting? Is it because we just like females more? They're more charismatic? Is it a motherly love? Like we trust the AI?
Oh, more like a maternal thing.
Maternal thing, yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, because we trust our moms more than we trust our dads.
Yeah.
Because our moms are always trying to look out the best for us, and our dads are usually an authority figure than the mother, which is more yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, you know, because in most normal family dynamics, and I'm using the term normal here loosely because I do not want to be pitched over that Twitter fire. So any family formula is normal, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has their own version of what normal.
Yeah.
But back then, the typical version of normal family was your father was the authority figure, your mother was the one that took care of you. Your father was hard, your mother was soft.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
something we still have to this day.
Yeah, that's something still people imagine and see.
Even with the whole thing of having two moms, two dads, one dad, one mom, you know.
Yeah. There's
still the idea, because it's natural.
Yeah.
In our minds.
Because one person has to be the authority figure, no matter what. If you really want to put it into some kind of weird dynamic, there has to be one person who is the authority figure and one person who is a little bit more lenient.
Exactly.
That's kind of how I think it'd be healthy. I mean, sure, you should work together and not work against each other when raising your child, but I don't have a kid, so really my opinion is invalid.
I don't have a kid either. I don't want one. Not right now. Anyways. So, the idea of the AI being a female figure is also in the idea of the web.
Yeah.
The internet. Yeah. And how it's called the web and the internet. And that this AI is like a spider. Walking around in the net. Mm-hmm. You know, either cocooning us to eat us, or cocooning us as her eggs for something else.
Yeah.
You know.
I think I'm following you.
Yeah. You know, it's this almost becoming like a what's the word? Like a tribal tribal thing.
So well, I can agree with you on that. Yeah, I think I kind of see what you're going with it. Like the metaphorical spider that's casting this interweb
Yeah.
is also trapping people
Yes.
and making, because you can be influenced really hard by the internet, especially if you go
Exactly.
through it at like a young age.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying
Because we're born in like a time when the internet was being born too,
Mhm.
so there was still some innocence to it.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
you.
I mean, there's still all that crazy stuff in it, but at least it wasn't as bad. But now, as we're growing older, it's getting not good.
Yeah, I
We're
hear you.
becoming more like people are just gonna become okay in just living with the internet. That's all we need. It's just the internet. That's all we need. You just buy food from there, buy clothes from there, buy anything from there. So one day we're gonna be interconnected with the actual internet.
Yeah.
We're gonna be the internet. And this AI, for good or bad, is gonna be our mom, and it's gonna tell us what to do and what to buy, what the ads, and then outside of ourselves, there's gonna be people who want to live, and usually it's the higher ups, the people with a lot of money. I think.
No, I get you.
Something like that.
I get you.
It's kind of like the Cthulhu thing.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to make everybody mad and into his cult.
Yeah.
I guess it's like that now.
So you're saying like the internet is more kind of like a culty thing.
Yeah.
I get yeah, bleh. Sorry about that. I guess I can see what you're saying, because it is kind of weird how many different like tribes, like you call them, like pop up from the internet, right?
Yeah.
Because you have certain people that are on there's two websites, because there's only one YouTube, one Twitter, one Instagram, and all that, right?
Yeah.
But there are certain websites that people hold near and dear to their heart, you know? And they'll always be like, well, this website's better than that website.
Yeah.
Like...
There's always going to be stuff like that. Yeah.
Like people with Reddit and 4chan, like 4chan people hate Reddit people, and Reddit people
hate
4chan people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are like some of the tribes you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then even in Twitter may not have somebody else to compete with, but within Twitter are tribes.
They're competing within themselves.
Yeah. So because there's this opinion versus this opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's not mention how political it can get too.
Yeah.
So I get what you're coming at with the whole the internet kind of makes us separate. It divides us in a way. It's for something that was meant to bring us together. It can also divide us just as much.
Yeah. So now like back then, like when I guess we were younger, like and we were 7 or something. How it was like religion versus like the bad people that make entertainment.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, cuss here, boobies here, butts here, and now it's the same thing. It's repeated, but it's a different good and bad, which is now it's political. It's you're right or you're left, and being right, you think the left is bad because they're promoting whatever. And if you're the left, the bad is right, is wrong, and evil because this and that, whatever. And so now it's being put into the internet. And in the internet, there is no face, there is no person. It's just a collective group of people that are either bad or good. And now it's spilling all over now. It's spilling from the internet to TV, to radio, and to the government too.
Now what do you mean by that? Now what do you mean by what you just said? What do you mean it's spreading?
It's spreading. It's spreading like a web that it's all interconnected through the internet.
Yeah, I get
because the media has the internet, radio goes through the internet too, and everything's being connected now through the internet.
Yeah,
because there's iHeartRadio and there's the presidency is going through the is influenced by Twitter and stuff. They say like, oh, this is bad, whatever. So there's everything's being connected now, everything through the internet, and I guess if you want to look at it in a bad way, in a nihilist way, the internet, the mother, is spreading so big, it's getting so big, and she's influencing everybody. She's connecting everybody towards her. She's getting so big that it's hard not to. It's hard to get out of it.
So, if I can work with your metaphor here correctly, what you're saying is that the big mother spider that is the internet is weaving the web around us.
Everybody.
Every day.
Every day.
As we continue on with our dependence on the internet now, because in my mind, right as of now, as of this time in our lives, internet is a necessity.
Yeah.
You need internet just as much as you need electricity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, I won't say water because you need water to live.
Yeah.
You know, you can live without electricity as long as you got water to keep yourself
organically.
Yeah. You know.
But virtually, you need the internet.
Well, because the internet is how most places take job applications.
Yeah, everything's connected.
It's how it's how you do a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, it's how you can order food. You can call the police. You can do all kinds of things with it.
Do anything. Yeah. Yeah. Anything. And is there going to be a point where we're just going to be dependent on the internet? Where our bodies no longer... We don't need our bodies anymore. We're just going to need just the internet. So because in our brains we have chemical electricity, you know.
Yeah.
So one day they're gonna find something to connect our soul or chemical electricity go into the internet.
Yeah.
Because it's still electricity. You can still you can still use it. So that's how, I guess, in that nihilist view, it's gonna affect us. It's gonna influence everybody. Because you can see it in kids. You can, they dab Fortnite floss and stuff, and it's really cringy when you see it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The internet is one of those things where at any corner you can be influenced by something. You know, you can click one thing, and then next thing you know, you're watching something unrelated. You know, it's like 10 steps to how you got there.
Yeah, and just like that, and just like the whole AI and the influence, the AI also listens to you when you talk. When you talk about finding a new, like, even with joking around friends, you can be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy a new house. I'm gonna get a mortgage for my house," jokingly. And then when you go online, you can go to YouTube or Twitter or even on Google, and there's ads. There's ads all tailored to houses and where to buy them and do this. So now you don't, it's everywhere.
Yeah, see, that was one of the freaky things too. Like when all this stuff first started happening, because I was like, no, if the government was really listening to everything we said, then I think there'd be a lot more arrests, right? And that's not the case necessarily, because it's not that the government's listening to us. It's the government and also companies.
Yeah, it's allowing.
They're listening to us.
Yeah.
And so whenever we're talking about anything, it's really, really weird, but I like it, but it's also weird to me.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you're talking about, if you go to your phone, go to your little Google search bar if you have it, and you click on it, and you don't even type in the first 3 letters. You type in probably the first one or the second letter, and the thing that you were talking about or were thinking about is right there.
It's right there.
It's just right. It's the first result, and you're like,
and
what
it's
the hell? How?
It's convenient too, but there's gonna be a point where
it just kind of gets creepy.
It gets creepy, and it already is, because people already realize that they're spying on them, but now they've just come to terms with, like, it's what it is. It's life now.
I think where it'll start getting creepy is when it starts to say, "Hey, this will make a great baby shower gift," and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
it's because it's like your sister's pregnant, or your girlfriend, or your wife's sister's pregnant.
So instead of listening, it's gonna start talking back,
and then it starts to connect you with other people. It's like, "Oh, well, this information shows that you're this person, and for this person's Facebook page, we found that she's pregnant and she's about to have a baby shower.
Yeah,
and you're gonna go to that baby shower because we saw that you accepted the invite.
Yeah.
So here's an ad for a present."
Exactly.
And and I may be overcomplicating it, but it's pretty simple, right?
It's not. I mean, yeah, it is simple. It's complicated in how much systems it's searching through to find a result that you will probably like in a matter of seconds, and it's really amazing and frightening at the same time.
Yeah.
Because what if you say the wrong thing to a government that doesn't agree with you? and it's gonna instantly find who you are, who your friends are, who everything is, and it's already like that with the government. You know, they can track you down easily with anything.
Yeah.
So everything's being connected in this this large web, and in the middle of it is the mother AI, Alexa, that listens, speaks to you, and influences you to do what you want, and then eventually what you have to do, and what eventually you will want to do.
Yeah.
And it's already starting. It's not. It's like starting like a little bit, but eventually it'll grow big. By the time we're like 50, we're gonna realize that our children's children are gonna be influenced by mega corporations to buy this, to do this, to think this.
Well, that's kind of already happening now.
Yeah.
And I do see your point with that.
Not as big,
Yeah.
but it's still big.
It is kind of weird, right? How many people go towards one thing, right?
Exactly.
And like we're no different. I mean, we're talking like we know what's going on, but still we fall for some marketing thing.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, it's like, oh, that new game that came out, that shit looks awesome.
Yeah,
we're gonna flip to go buy that because we heard it was good, or we saw that it looked good, or it had a certain thing in it that we liked, right?
Yeah,
and that's why we go towards it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's with that's with anything.
And the mother AI is the spider that goes around in the web, and she finds your cocoon that you're in, and she'll make sure you has this. She'll feed you. She'll give you what you need, and then she'll wrap you back up and just places you there, and that's who you are. You start becoming just this egg, being wrapped, unwrapped, given what you needed. You know, feeded.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the very negative nihilist way of looking at it. Like an intellectual atheist.
That's pretty much what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because the cocoon can be like your room or your house that you never leave.
Yeah, and that's already happening too with some guys that, you know, they're neats. You know, they just stay in the home all day, don't do anything, play video games and watch the internet and don't do anything, and then they rot away. But I mean, I guess they live forever in the internet. You know, they live forever. I guess that's our way of immortality.
Yeah, the internet does provide some form of immortality, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can record yourself now and put your stuff up online. And
yeah,
that's time captured in the sense.
Yeah, literally you in the flesh and your voice, you know. And so now, you know, it's slow. It's a slow progress, but it's because I've been there. You know, I was like spending 6 months in my house doing nothing, playing games, and then I realized I was like, you know, I don't want to do that. you know?
Like you gotta get out at some point.
Yeah,
right?
eventually, you know.
You know, cause that was kind of what my thing was too. Because at one point I was just sitting inside all day, right?
Yeah.
For like days, and I was like, man, what the fuck? I was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And so I stopped getting shit delivered, and then I'm gonna start driving to places.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sure, is that much? You know, it's probably not, but at least I'm actively getting into my car and going to go pick up my food.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting at home.
And there's the virus out there, but you know, sometimes doing it a few times is okay. You know,
as long as you're just safe about it. You know what I mean? As long as you're not, as long as you're wearing your mask, you know, washing your hands, not going up to people who are old and without a mask, or
and just trying to go out there and try to do something in the park, you know, instead of being closed in. And I guess that's a thing that the corona is helping induce, is the this neat mindset to just stay in home and just do nothing and just be comforted by this easy access of services on the internet.
Yeah, there's so many things, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
You don't have to go buy food.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. You can date virtually.
Yeah.
Because some people like that.
Yeah, you could, you know, and it's fine if you like to do that, but you have to do that in moderation. Don't do that so much to the point where, you know,
you just don't leave your house.
You don't leave your house. Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. Because then eventually you just become cocooned into the internet.
Yeah.
You know, being webbed up by your virtual internet mother. You know, she's always going to tell you it's alright, it's gonna be okay, and that's where the father figure comes in. That's why nobody likes the male version of an AI, because the male version is always straightforward. It's like we have to get to from point A to a point B, and that's why they're always usually like work area kind of things.
Oh, so like you're saying that if there were to be male voiced AIs, or what we deem to be a male voiced AI,
Yeah.
you think that it would be more common in a workplace than it would be anything else?
Yes, because it's more authoritative, and we don't like that. We don't like being told when to do this, when to do that, and this like that, and that's why usually, not saying everybody doesn't like their fathers, but there's this resentment towards them. Like I'm an adult, you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And so there's this rebellious side that we still have, that we want to rebel against our father figure, like with Lucifer and God.
Yeah.
He rebels, and it's natural within us. We want to rebel against kings and presidents and their laws, but sometimes it's good to listen to it. Not all the time. I mean, if it's gonna hurt you, then you shouldn't do that.
There are some rules that are
questionable.
There are some rules that are questionable, and then there are some rules that are like, okay, I understand why that's a rule.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Murder is like, okay,
I shouldn't do that.
I understand you shouldn't kill another person. That's probably something not good.
But that's also that's the good side of the father, the father AI. But the mother AI is more like the movie Psycho, where the guy is constantly haunted by his mom, and he's being told to kill. So eventually, what if the mother AI eventually says, hey, you don't like that person, you should probably go and, take him out, or do something about it, in the wrong way, because usually, like in the Bible, Eve is the one that goes for the apple, not Adam, because he follows the rules. And so I'm not saying like women are always telling you not to do the bad thing, but it's in the metaphorical sense of like it's usually the female that says, don't follow the rules, do this instead, go through your natural body, what your body wants, instead of what we should morally do, because in pagans in paganism, because people are naturally pagan, because we like paganism because it's more free, instead of like
what is paganism? People don't know what paganism is.
Paganism is just essentially like you follow a religion that have multiple gods usually, and they're not considered the Abrahamic religion, which is like Jewish, Christians and Muslims.
Yeah.
And that's the top guys. Pagans are just like any other religion that wasn't those three guys. Essentially, that's mostly what a pagan religion is. It's not like this huge one. So like I guess the most common one is paganism is Germanic. There's Odin.
Yeah.
He's the father figure. He's like the top guy, and you always follow what he does, because usually he's like, the father always sacrifices something of himself to give you something back.
Yeah.
And the mother, like, who's her name? I usually forget who the evil one, I guess, the pagan is like, what's her name? I forget. Usually the mother one is the bad one.
No, I hear you.
Because she's trying to tempt you to do the wrong thing. And, and it's, you try to follow your bodily instincts. There you go. That's what I was trying to get to. Instead of doing the bad thing, it's not bad to follow your bodily instincts. You want to have sex, you can go and have sex. Just don't,
Just don't make sure it's
consensual. Consensual.
Yeah.
And
I got you.
Yeah, you can do that. If you fall in love, go for it. But I guess I lost track of what I was trying to get through there. But like, there's this gray side of both. The father figure usually is a tyrant. It's a tyrant in sometimes, and then he's like a monarch. He's trying to help you, but also subdue you. And then the mother is trying to always help you and nourish you, but then like it's too much. It's too much nourishment. You become very soft, and you just go by your bodily instincts. when you want to jerk off all the time, you want to do
Yeah.
this all the time, you
Yeah.
know. And the father's always like, don't do that. Go do something else. And that's why I guess, well, I was trying to get to the AIs, is that's why a lot of the AIs are not female. I mean, are not male, they're female. Because they're comforting. You know? You know, you tell Alexa, hey, Alexa, buy me this. And she's like, okay. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. But when you hear, like, if you had a male AI that said, like, what's his name? Like, let's call him Frank. Frank, buy me this. He's like, are you sure you should do that? You know? You'd be like, oh, well, yeah, you know, you're right. You know?
Yeah.
Instead of the mother one, you'd be like, oh, yeah, you should, you know.
It's okay. I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I know I've been saying that a lot, but I'm just trying to make sure I
Follow what I'm
follow
trying.
what you're saying and make sure I don't misrepresent what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I get it. So
Sound like more like...
you're not trying to say that women are evil.
No.
What you're saying is that through multiple, mainly religion, from what I was getting,
Yeah.
that they always go out to make the woman seem bad.
Yeah.
Because
they follow the bottle, like the bottle.
they follow what
your body needs.
what they're passionate. They follow their passions.
Yeah.
And not what they should be doing.
Their
their obligation
to do.
They do their passions, not their obligations.
Exactly.
I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying with that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure I clear it up just to make it sound a little bit better. I'm not gonna lie to you, buddy. That kind of sounded a little.
Hey, you know what?
It sounds a little wank, but it's okay.
It's big.
It's okay though. You know, I know you don't hate women. You know you don't hate women.
No, I love women.
Exactly.
Oh, that's kind of weird. But okay, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I appreciate women. I
No,
appreciate
yeah,
what they
like,
do.
I got
You know,
you.
we all appreciate women. You know, they try their best. You know, as like a mom should always do, try to lead their kids to the safest, good path. But the kids always like, nah, screw that. I'm gonna do that.
No, yeah, and
He
I
falls to heroin addiction and drugs and
yeah,
and
that
stuff.
you know that old chestnut.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
But
Hey yo.
no, I get. I understand. I understand.
Yeah,
'Cause-
you know, it's hard to talk about, especially like just like I said, it's like this political climate that's heated.
Because we're not trying. Because I just want to make it clear, we're not judging women.
It's like a psychological view of it. You know.
Yeah, because we're not. I just want to make this clear.
We're
We're
not-
not judging women.
We're not experts either. You know,
Yeah.
you can go look at a book and say, oh, you know, you're wrong, you stupid retard, and we're like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
But I like
but-
talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, not everything we say is going to be correct.
Exactly.
So
Don't take this take this as a grain of salt.
yeah,
Just like a food for thought. There we go.
yeah, and it is kind of weird how through most religions they do kind of make the women figure seem a little bit more evil.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about different things like the Greeks and the Romans, you know, their gods and stuff, you know, the women are usually just as bad as the men.
Yes, they are. They
You know?
they usually like they cheat on their man. It's just as the man cheats on the woman. But that's something that's reflected off of people. You know, men cheat on women, women cheat on men. You know,
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just they make him human.
Yeah, I get you.
But sometimes it's like the woman isn't bad, but she's not following what the main god is saying to do.
Mhm.
You know, he says, "Hey, don't do this because this is bad," and then she's like, "Well, I just want to go and do it and see what happens," and she does it, and then that's the moral. It's like, you know, don't do that.
Impulse.
Don't follow your impulses. Think it through.
And that's usually what it is that they do. It's their fault why something happened.
Yeah, and that's reflected back towards. You're supposed to read it and not say, "Oh, women do bad things." It's like, oh, you know, it's a story, it's a lesson. It's like, oh, I shouldn't do that because what happened to her can happen to me.
Yeah, even if the story was with like another man or something.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't a woman, it was a man that did the thing.
Yeah.
Then
There's
you know
also- yeah,
the lesson would still work.
Yeah, just like there's a story like a Greek guy went back for his wife. She dies, and he says, "Don't look at your wife until you get out of the cave." And he's like, "Okay." He gets out, and then but before she can get out of the cave, he turns around and looks. He disobeys what the guy said, and she gets tossed back to hell. And he's like, "Oh well, fuck," you know. That's it works both ways. It's just usually like in the metaphorical stance, it's the female almost like the story stance for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess women are more intense to their impulses than men.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes that's not true, that's mostly
Well,
it's equal almost.
It
in a way.
is equal in that sense because I know pretty of impulsive dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like it's just a woman thing, you know. And that's the weird part, right? Because in my thought process, we all do the same shit.
Yeah.
We just all have different desires.
Exactly.
You know, and so my desires collide with your desires.
Yeah.
And if that happens, then that's an issue.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then we end up hating each other or something like that.
And that's what happens in the internet. You know, that like people have different tastes, and they're just like, I don't like that, and the other guys say, well, I like it, and then they fight about it. You know, instead of thinking it through, it's like, maybe, you're right. Maybe this is kind of shitty, but I like it.
Or the other way around. Or
yeah.
It's
like, I understand why you like it, but I think it's shit.
Yeah, I think it's shitty. I just don't like it.
Yeah, there you go. And then be like, all right, cool.
You know, and that's what everybody has. Everybody has their own tastes and things, right?
Yeah.
And so, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
And obviously, it wasn't all guys who decided that AI with a female voice was better than an AI with a male voice.
No, it's just comforting for anybody, for a woman, for a man. It's just usually for men though. It's comforting to hear a woman say, "Oh yeah, okay," because it's gentle and it's comforting.
Well, for most people, yeah. But
most.
This obviously this excludes people who have issues with their mom or issues with female figures, and that goes for both guys and girls, because women can hate other women just as men can hate women.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. And it just... Because just like sometimes there's like women that have like the guy voice of Siri. I'm not sure what it's called. Mm-hmm. But they have it on just because...
See, that's interesting. I did not know that there was a guy voice for Siri.
Yeah, there is. That's
crazy.
Yeah. And there's an old lady who was like talking to it and stuff. And it talked back and it was a guy voice. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that. That's cool. And I guess just like some women like the male thing because it's just like the female. It's
comforting.
It's comforting because the male is usually the one that says, "Okay, I'm gonna do this." You know, it's more confident that he's gonna do this.
Yeah.
And the female is more reassuring. You know.
And I guess it kind of depends on who you are. Because you could be just a guy who's like who doesn't. You're like, oh, fuck, I don't like my mom, I don't like, females or whatever. And so you get the male voice on your phone, and you're like, okay. Yeah. Or maybe you're just some, like, fucking sexist, and you're like, I will not have a woman telling me what to do.
Yeah.
And you switch it to a male voice.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not cool.
Yeah.
But...
It happens.
It happens.
It's part of life. Because they just had problems with stuff like that, Mm-hmm. And it's something you just gotta be like, oh, yeah, maybe. You can't just out loud, Anyways, like... it's eventually gonna... You're gonna hear a lot of that female voice in a lot of things, which you already do, like in cars and stuff. They talk back now, just like Lupe. He's got a car that talks back, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's gonna start sucking your dick too. So
I mean,
that wouldn't be so bad.
I really would hope that they won't allow you to do that the same time as you're driving.
I mean, it's gonna happen.
Okay, I mean,
it still happens. Like some guys have the dick suck while they're driving, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's gonna get installed by some weirdo.
But wouldn't that be like a road safety hazard?
But do you think they care? They got a comb.
I mean,
got a comb.
Yeah, I guess if you have the carnal desire that bad, I mean.
Yeah,
That'll make that'll add a whole new wave of car guys.
Yeah, it's gonna start moaning and everything. It's gonna be crazy.
Eventually, it's not even gonna be a car. It's gonna be a woman.
It transforms into a car and then it takes you everywhere. That'd be kind of cool.
He liked that one.
Yeah, it's gonna take you everywhere. It's gonna be called the Katie. No.
Oh, there's a lot of them, bro. Herbie Fully Loaded.
No.
Oh, bro, that's like Herbie Fully Loaded. If you could write it, you can just turn it into a porn about a robot.
Shut up. but like eventually, all that's a lot of our stuff is gonna be virtual essentially. And is it good or bad? That depends on you.
I don't think that we should go full virtual ever.
No.
Because there's still things to look at in the real world.
Yeah.
That are pretty and nice.
Like women. Women are pretty.
Yeah.
I like women.
He really like that one.
Women are pretty. Paintings are pretty.
You just like looking at pretty things.
I like looking at pretty things.
You can like
everybody likes looking at pretty things.
Hey man.
Okay, if you had a pretty picture and an ugly picture, which one would you throw away first?
Hey man, I'm agreeing with you.
No, but which one would you throw away first? I would
throw away the ugly picture.
Exactly. You treat the beautiful ones better than the ugly ones.
Look, man, I'm not the pretty picture. I'm the okay picture. I'm okay. So if I were to rank myself in art form, see, I'm not the piece of art.
You're not a Mona Lisa.
I'm not a Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
But I am not the art that's in the restroom.
No,
I am the art that is in the doctor's office that you stare at while you wait.
Yeah,
I'm there. I'm comfortable. Like you look at me, you're like, oh, that's an okay painting.
Yeah.
To stare at for 10 minutes.
And then you forget about it eventually when you go into the doctor. Exactly. Yeah.
And you probably look at me again when you walk out, but you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, you know. But at that moment, you're like, that's pretty okay painting.
That's pretty okay. Who painted that?
Exactly.
And then you never find out who did, and then you're just like, oh, whatever, I'll go look for something else.
Yeah, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And, yeah, you know, eventually we're just going to try to maintain both the virtual and the reality of life. You know, we're going to try to maintain it into a balance. You know, because everything's a balance. You know, we can have a lot of electronics, but also have a lot of real life and try to make a balance between them.
I mean, I'll be okay with it to a certain extent, right? Like, let's say somebody who can't move their arms or legs, right?
That's awesome.
Let's say you put them.
That's not awesome to lose a leg. That means like awesome to get a prosthetic. That means it's not awesome.
It's not.
It looks cool, but obviously I wouldn't want to have one.
That's obviously they didn't want that. It looks cool, which is a bonus. But it's not a bonus that you lost a limb.
Would you get like a cybernetic girlfriend though? Like if she lost her leg in her arm?
How cybernetic are we talking?
Like it looks like she can move her around and everything. It's not like fleshy, but it's like metallic.
It's just all like robot, like how robot? Like we're talking about skeleton form, or it's like
she has the plastic coverings over it. Like it looks. If she takes it off, it's skeletal like a Terminator, but she has plastics over it to make it look as a real hand.
I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I mean. I just wouldn't want it to malfunction because what if it like punches a rib and breaks it, you know?
What if she's like, let's try something new, right? And she like attaches this new like hand that feels real, and then she's like she's gonna go for it, and then it malfunctions, and then she just rips it off.
Well, see that's kind of a thing I'd be afraid of.
I would tell it, let's test it out like on these fine like things and see if it breaks.
Yeah.
So that way we can test what we need, you know, an experiment. And that'd be fun. You get to bond with her, and she then, you know, you fall in love with her because she can give you a good robotic hand job.
I mean, I would think a good robotic hand job would add a lot to love.
Or she can massage you really good too. Like not in your penis, but like in your body. Like she gives you good massages. Like a human hand.
Yeah.
She like squeezes your legs.
You didn't have to clear. We kind of. I think we got it. I think we understand.
No, because you have to give a good descriptive picture of what's going on. You can't be like.
No, I understand.
You know, can't be always subtle.
No, I understand. No, I get you. I get you.
That's the okay. That's the cyberpunk that we want. But I mean, obviously, that cyberpunk has a lot of will eventually be like very lot of cons and pros. You know, yeah, you get a hand job by a very soft robotic hand, but
it's still a robotic hand.
It's not real.
Yeah,
and then it's gonna be hard to differentiate the real with the robotic or virtual.
Yeah, that's true too. Because like, if you could just hire or buy,
and I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a fetish.
Yeah,
that's like there's gonna be like robotic, like cyborg girls, prostitutes. They'll be like, I want her.
I mean.
Come on, you know it's gonna.
No,
happen.
I get you. There will be cyborg prostitutes in the future,
and there's gonna be robot ones too.
Oh yeah, I mean, so I wonder if you would be dictated as weird as like, they're like, so do you want like cyber organic combo, or do you just want full on cyber?
We're going full metal.
Full metal.
It's gonna be called heavy metal.
Oh, bro, you can sell condoms called full metal jackets.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
No! Yeah,
bro, that's the greatest future ever.
That sounds like a really good comedy.
Oh, bro, it sucks, man, because that means I won't live long enough to see that to make this idea.
We could just.
We just pass the idea down to generation. When the year comes,
we could make it into a movie.
We could make it into a movie.
You can make it into
Full Metal Jacket's already a movie, though.
No, don't call it Full Metal Jacket.
What would we call it?
Cyberpunk.
We'll call it robophilia.
Robophilia? Yeah, robophilia.
Oh,
yeah.
technophilia.
Technophilia.
Technophilia sounds like a cool name. It
Yeah.
sounds like it'd be.
It's just about fetishes in the future and how they would like.
Oh, bro, future fetish. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, like you get like virtual programs that walk around and just like I jerk off to that. They don't touch me or anything. Like it becomes like a different like evolution of simp, where like they literally cannot even look at it. Or
Those
touch
who
it.
cannot afford the physical.
Yeah, they
must
can't.
do with holograms.
With holograms, so they just gotta jerk it.
Like it's kind of warm when they touch me, but that's about it.
That's as much stimulation as they get.
Wow.
And then there's the ones that you don't even feel anything. They don't even come close to you. They make fun of you.
Yeah. See that. That's
It's a healthy way.
That's a hell of a paywall, though.
Yo, for each like
each amount you pay, the more tangible she becomes.
And that's look. We're getting fed by our internet mother. These fetishes.
I'm just saying, man.
Seeing too much. You see, this is what I'm talking about.
I wouldn't say it's a full-on
We're all
fetish.
becoming coomers.
I don't think
that's the
everybody's a
final stage of humanity's coom.
You think the final stage of humanity is
through dick is unity?
Is drowning in lust? You think that's the last part of humanity?
That's what happens. Yeah, that's gonna happen. And eventually we're just gonna get so lost in the sauce we're just not realize where we are. We're just gonna become like these brains and these little balls that they just throw around here and there.
I will say the internet has been a real safe place for fetishists.
Well, that's the reason.
Yeah.
That's one of the things about the internet. It's a safe place.
Because you're bound to find one other person who's into what you're into.
There's a guy who jerks off to tiles, like tile patterns. Did you ever read about that?
No, I've never read about a man who masturbates to tile patterns.
So, like, it starts out with, like, a guy, he's getting yelled at by his sister, and, like, he's like, why is there cum in the kitchen floor? Because he has, like, very weird patterns, and he says he just can't help it. He says he doesn't jerk off, but he just, like, lays there on top of it, and eventually it'll just cum.
Huh. It's weird. But is that more of a psychological thing or what you think? You think the patterns are fucking with him?
I think it's just the patterns itself.
Yeah.
Because just like everything's a pattern, like like sex, like when you draw porn, it's not about the anatomy. It's about the fluidity of the body.
Of the fucking
It's because it's the liquids, because
the liquids.
Yeah, because the titties, right?
No, I understand.
The titties aren't solid; they're like liquids, right? And that's what we get excited about.
I will say titties are very malleable, yes.
Yeah, then that's the liquid. When you're putting your dick through the vagina, right? What is it? What's it makes it good? Is it the vagina itself, or is it the liquids inside your body?
I would like to say a mixture of both.
Well, yeah, it's like a mixture of both. But what makes it more?
I guess the moisture.
Exactly, right? Yeah. Well, that's when you're drawing these things, this is what you take into account. Is like, it's not the anatomy. You can make a chick with humongous tits, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But what is it that is the attractiveness of it?
What's the attractiveness of huge titties?
It's the curve and, like, the fluidity of it. Like a hiego, right? A hiego, what's the attractiveness of it?
I mean,
it's all that steam, the saliva, and her way her like tongue curves around like jello.
Yeah.
It's that. It's like this almost fluid thing that's happening because we think with that. Because when we're fucking, it's not. It's just the fluids.
I understand.
What is it that comes out?
Fluids.
The fluid.
Yes.
That's what comes out, and that's. I have no idea what it has to do with the internet. Well, I mean.
Yeah, okay, so if you want to talk about the sex and internet, that's
a whole different thing.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That's
like we were saying before, is like the internet is a place for fetishists.
Yeah.
You're bound to find somebody who likes what you like.
And that's one part of what makes the internet this AI spider mother, is that she comforts you and she influences you through your fetishes, through your comforts and through your needs. And what our human needs, is
sex, food, and water, shelter.
Yeah, and shelter. And what's the shelter? Is your room, water there, the food somewhere.
You can get delivered to you if you don't have it.
And you need to coom. The need to coom. Because it's your want to reproduce. It's not even. I mean, at this point, it's not even about reproducing.
It's not even the want to reproduce. It's just feeling good for that moment.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what the spider does. She gives you what you need.
Yeah, she enables you to feel good for that moment.
For that moment, as long as you want. Exactly.
I understand.
And just like Charles Manson said.
What did Charles Manson say?
He said, "Watch me destroy your world."
And then was he the one that did that little dance in court?
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, let's watch this." And I was like, "Hey, okay."
That was honestly one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Because he really went kind of hard with it.
But you know what's cool about... Well, it's not cool, but you know what's weird about him? Of all the other killers in the world, like mass murderers, he always put himself away from the term killer. He never associates himself with killers. Because he's a master manipulator.
Okay.
And just like, I guess... Just like the people who manipulate the internet and the people who are inside the web, they distance themselves away from those people. Those are the people that are eventually going to know what's real and what's not real. Because they're the ones pulling the strings. Just like Merle Manson said, he's going to destroy your world.
I feel like at this point, if you were to get rid of the internet,
it goes into chaos.
Everyone's going to be angry.
Everyone's going to be really frustrated, and it's going to become a dark age. And everyone's going to forget how to read, write, and do all this basic shit that we know. Because who writes now? Who writes in cursive? No one writes cursive. People barely write. I mean, they type. But writing?
The only time
people will know how to spell and maybe read, but they won't know how to write.
The only people who really write anymore are people who are still in school.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the real world, you don't really write anything. You type out. Like when you filling out reports, when you fill out a produce report, you use a pencil or whatever.
Exactly.
But when they put it into the system, they type it into the system.
Yeah, and if all of that shit went away, it would just become a dark age. Not necessarily like instant.
Not like I wouldn't say we'd forget basic knowledge. I'd say we would forget how to teach it without the help of the internet, and so lessons would still be taught, just not as efficiently as they would have been with the internet.
Exactly.
But people have to understand that before the internet, they were teaching people just fine.
Yeah. And
the people that were taught before the internet created the internet.
Yeah, and then they created their own doom. Well, they created essentially the things they hate. Young people.
Yeah, I guess so.
Exactly, And so now we just have a generation who didn't believe generation.
Okay, don't say that. Well, I'll get copyright strike. I don't.
Oh yeah,
no, you're fine.
I forgot about that.
I'm fucking with you. I don't even really know if that's how it works.
I think it. No, you have to play the whole song. I think if it's just like a little snip, it doesn't matter. And if you're singing it too, it doesn't matter really. And there's no like drums, bass, guitar.
Yeah, it's just two bros chatting.
We're just chatting, bro. We're just chatting about internet spider women that are gonna infest us.
I did like the idea that you had,
because that game System Shock too.
Yes.
Remember that one chick, the antagonist is just this evil bitch.
It's just a woman with a bunch of wires.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the idea of how she looks like. Physically, anyways.
Yeah, I got you.
But she doesn't have a physical form. She's what we are. We created her.
Collectively, yeah.
Collectively. Now, the hardest part is letting go of her. Just, it's just a guy who can't leave their mom,
Yeah.
They're perfectly capable, but they just don't want to.
Yeah.
There's some people, some guys that can't leave their mom because she's in trouble. Financial stuff, and can't do that.
Yeah,
that's me. But it's coming to a point where the web has grown too big for anybody to really escape. Everyone in the world, not everyone in the world, but a huge part of the world is connected. And so now she's just this big spider, like.
Yeah, I get you.
She's like a scary folktale, right? Like. Kids that go into the woods get lost and they disappear, or when they come back, they're not the same.
Well, that's what the internet is.
Yeah,
because because that's kind of what tripped me out for a good few years of my life. Right, was I had exploration to the internet, I had access to the internet and to explore as freely as I wanted to.
Yeah.
And
then when you come out, you're not the same anymore.
Yeah, because I remember I was looking for a game of from my favorite TV show.
Yeah.
And I clicked the wrong link and it showed me porn.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I was like, what cartoon characters can be in pornos?
Yeah, and that's where you get lost in the sauce. That's where the folk tales of kids going into the woods and getting lost. Yeah. They get lost, and when they come back, they're not the same.
Because obviously you don't go back and tell anybody, right?
Yeah,
you don't go and tell no one, right?
You're mad. You're crazy because you have all this knowledge as a little kid, and you're just like, holy shit, like boobies and stuff.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? You're like, if that kid, because obviously curiosity takes over.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young and you don't know much.
Yeah.
You're like,
you're dumb, young, full of.
Yeah, you're like, well, if that's what this person is, then what if? I wonder if they have this person.
Bro, we just got raped.
And you start, you did, and you just start picking shit. Look at it.
Yeah, you're just a lost kid in the web. The web is the woods, and there again, the mother, the spider mother is leading you over here. She's like, come over here, and then eventually you're at this porn site looking at Fuda girls dogging your favorite chick on your favorite show, and you're just like, what have I become?
Yeah, you're like, what?
Because there's a story of a kid gets lost. No, he doesn't get lost. He goes with his father figure, and they fish out a fish from this mystical lake. And he's like, don't eat this fish because this fish is full of knowledge. And the kid, what he does, he eats the fish and he becomes full of knowledge and he goes crazy. Or something like that.
Well,
and that's what happens to us when we're young because we just got introduced to this internet and we're just like, holy shit, we can do all this.
Yeah, and that's kind of part of what's weird about it too, right? Because if you don't have, because obviously now they have a bunch of restrictions on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Like now you can make it to where if your kid has an account on it, you can make it to where they can only be on it for 2 hours a day. And once that 2 hours is done, the 2 hours is done. They can't get back on it. They can't do nothing else. Now there's stuff like that, but in the beginning, no one shouldn't like that. Yeah. Or at least my parents didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, my parents are Mexicans. They don't know how to do shit. Like, holy shit. Electronically, anyways.
So, I went through a lot of things because they didn't know how to do the restrictions. They didn't know how to do nothing. So I was free to explore at my whim.
And I guess now since we've been, I guess you might say, we've been not scarred, but we've been hardened by the internet. Well, we understand it now that I guess when we have kids, I guess maybe the future isn't as dark. Maybe we have the ability to control it. But even then, kids aren't dumb. They'll find a way how to get to the forest.
Yeah,
no matter how many times we tell them not to go there.
Yeah,
and they'll get there eventually, and they'll become lost in the sauce. And I guess maybe that's why there's not such a happy outcome with the internet. So hide your kids
from the internet. You gotta. Well, because you
can't hide them. You can't hide them.
Well, you can't hide them from it, right?
Because there's other parents that won't care. They'll be like, yeah, just do whatever they want.
And then that kid goes and tells your kid.
And then they become interested. Yeah. Just like how we did with video games. We're like, did you know we could see boobies in so-and-so game? And you're like, what the fuck? And then you look it up and you're like, holy shit. And now there's, you're going to want to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. And then there's...
Once you take it away.
And then there's all kinds of art for stuff. And then that's the weird thing, too, right? Because I believe that at that state, right, that's when you kind of develop what you like,
Yeah.
And so once you get older, you're like, if you looked at this certain type of woman or this certain type of thing happen, that's a certain type of thing you want when you're older.
Yeah, and in real life, it's technically not real. You become illusioned by the internet, and I guess that's in turn comes with the topic, the influences of the internet that influences different things about your life. The way you want women, if you're a male, or if you're a female, the way you want men to be, even though that's not realistic. It's not how it would be because we're human. What was it? I was gonna say something else. It's like in this like Scooby Doo. Because I rewatched Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
The live version.
The which live version?
The one made by the guy who made the Guardians of the Galaxy.
The James Gunn one?
Yeah,
Which one's that?
it's just Scooby Doo. It's the live action.
The first one, right?
The first one.
Yeah. Okay.
I watched it, and I didn't realize how sexual it was.
Yo, no, it's
I was
really
like,
sexual.
I was so oblivious to it when I was a kid. I was like, what big boobies? I was like, I don't
So I think that was trying to be one of those family movies, you know, where it's supposed to be comedy for everybody.
Because the whole sexualized is for the guys, like the parents who lived with the Scooby Doo era.
Yeah.
And then they realize like, oh shoot, you know, like because in the like when the Scooby Doo came out, there's different pictures of like Daphne being tied up, you know, gagged and stuff, and her being what's it called, hypnotized by the clown guy, and all those things. When they were kids, they started like it influenced them to think, to have sexual like fetishes. And that's why now when we see the internet, we see like those guys doing sexual stuff. They do those things. They do bondage and they do like hypnotizing things, and we're just like, what the fuck? Like, we didn't think that. Well, because that's the influences of them, and so now us, I'm not sure what. Okay. Now we're influenced about almost every kind of type of fetish. Now we have inflation, Fuda girls, which essentially just are dick girls. If you don't know, it's just a chick with a dick. Traps, which is a guy who just is a girl. If you don't know what that is. Furries, people who want to be animals.
Yeah.
Anthropomorphic animals.
Anthropomorphic. I'm just pronouncing it for you.
People, animals, whatever the fuck. And what else, Trey? There's
He's not supposed to be in this episode.
Oh yeah. No, he.
Just so you guys are aware, you can't use the term trap anymore. That's like the N word for like transsexuals now.
Okay, so we can't use the word trap anymore. That's confirmed. Thank you, Trey, for informing us.
You see, now we're informed. Okay,
See,
so traps.
Yeah.
All right.
You can't say Trey. You said it.
He said it already.
We did already say it.
Okay, a transsexual. There we go. There you go. Transsexual.
A guy who likes to dress like a girl. That's just. I think.
Cross-dresser. There we go. Cross-dresser.
Is that the same thing?
Well, because they're technically they don't. It's not the same.
It's not. It's not the same thing. Okay, it's not the same thing.
Well, because a cross-dresser is a guy who dresses as a woman, right? And that's what we just said is. It's a guy just up as a woman.
Cross-dressing doesn't affect your sexuality. It's just like dressing up.
That's okay.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
He kind of has a point there because just because there's plenty of straight dudes who dress up like chicks. It's kind of hard to believe, but
it is.
There is. Like,
I know, but like,
just because they like to dress up like girls doesn't mean they're gay.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Because there's a lot of women.
I mean, I've seen some that aren't.
Because there's women that dresses up as men and they're technically lesbian, right?
Hey, is it okay to say the term butch?
No.
Okay. You have to cut that out. Anyways, let's not cut that out. Who's gonna? Anyways.
You add bleeps.
Oh, I can. Yeah.
What we're getting to? Fetishes. You know, there's a whole bunch of fetishes now that we have.
And the internet is one of those things that kind of enables those things. You know, and
then when we grow up and we have kids, they're gonna have fetishes that we don't understand. We're like, what the fuck are you? You like putting inside that? I mean, okay.
Oh man, that's gonna be a hell of a conversation with my child one day.
Yeah, that's the title. If you like putting it in that?
Yeah, okay.
The states of
the state of putting it in that.
Mother AIs
and putting it in that
and influences of the Mother AI. Anyways, dude, you know, we're always influenced, and we always go back to our basic needs, sexual, and
I will say the internet is probably one of those things, right?
Can we say cuck?
You can say cuck. Cuck is a thing.
That's so weird. But I mean, I guess, right?
I guess. Like, I don't know. Teach their own, buddy.
And when it's a man getting humiliated, it's okay to say it, but no, because then what we just said, the T word is not. That's a man as a woman, so you can't. Okay, never mind.
It's very confusing.
It's very, and let's not get into that.
Yeah, because
that's landmine.
We're gonna get canceled.
We're gonna get canceled by one person.
Yeah, man.
And then we're gonna go big. That's the thing of getting big is doing things that people hate. When you do things that people hate, people love that.
I will tell you this: that is not wrong.
It's not wrong
because if you're hated, you're more known than if you're loved.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
It's better to be feared than to be loved. That's some guy in the middle just said.
I don't think people necessarily fear you. I just think it's more or less
Well,
like
they fear the idea of what you represent. Anyway.
yeah. That
Listen.
okay. I can
Yeah.
I can get behind that. Yeah.
Well, I was just referring it to like a king. You know, it's better to be feared than loved.
True.
You know, because the king has to maintain the status of royalty. You can't just be like, I'm just gonna be a peasant guy. And you just get knocked out. You know, and that's the way to success here. It's like to be a king, I guess,
Quote
like,
unquote king. Yeah.
you know, like a successful person. You have to do something controversial. If not, you're just gonna be just some guy with no opinions.
Either
You're
need,
boring. If you're
either-
boring, you're
yeah.
you're not gonna make it.
Well, there's like two extremes, right? It's either you have a very bad take, or you have a very good take.
Exactly.
And those are the only two ways you become really famous or loved or hated, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And then that good take, that good take is always gonna be just a very specific type of people.
Yeah, because like let's say you're a good singer, right?
Yeah.
If you're a good singer and then let's say you donate $1 million to charity, not only are you a good singer, but now people think of you as a good person.
Yeah, exactly.
And since people think of you as a good person,
Exactly.
you kind of...
And especially if you post it online, they'll be like, "Whoa, he's a really good person," and then there's
And-
like no context to it.
Yeah.
Too. There's like, maybe he did it just because he had to, or maybe he wanted to.
Well, see, this is my like real issue with celebrities, right? Like,
Yeah.
I really hate it when celebrities pop up on screens and they're like, "I'm here to tell you about such and such. Insert disaster here.
And we need you to donate.
We need you to donate, or I'm with you." I'm like, shut the fuck up, because I know you're not.
Yeah, they don't.
You're
care.
a liar. You're lying to me.
They just want like, even though it's like it's just $1 a month, it still adds up.
People
and then-
forget that actors are paid liars.
Yeah, exactly.
They're professional liars.
Professional liars. You know. Yeah.
You know, and people forget that. And I'm not saying all actors are assholes. I'm pretty
No.
sure there are some actors who are genuine people.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like,
Because they
there's no way all of them are.
They train to lie about their emotions.
Yeah.
So you know.
We're talking about people who learn to cry on cue.
Exactly.
We're talking about people who learn to pretend to be angry, who can
Exactly.
make themselves sad and could possibly manipulate your feelings, because that's what they do, right? Because you're like, I know this is just a character in the movie, and I know that actor is not like this in real life.
Exactly.
But in this moment, they're making me feel bad for them
Exactly.
in this movie.
There you go.
So
yeah.
I can only imagine how that works face to face.
Exactly.
If we feel that way through a screen, imagine the power it might give off talking to them face to face.
Exactly. That's crazy. So that also goes into the fact of like that all that happens, right? And then when they go into the internet and they try to influence people, not through maybe words but through videos.
Yeah.
Because it's almost the same thing of face to face, right? Because you're seeing their face, and then since they know how to manipulate, there's one thing about like the evil eye, you know, they stare at you and they never lose contact. That's one thing they're really good at. Like I know it's gonna be weird, but like in porn, if you ever look at porn
Mm-hmm.
and watch a video, right? Just watch a video of
Yeah.
like a chick getting rammed.
Mm-hmm.
What do they always do? They always stare at the camera. They never lose contact
With the camera.
with the camera.
Okay, yeah.
Unless they're doing like a other position, but then the camera goes to her face,
Yeah.
and it's always her looking at the camera. Why? Because you're getting drawn into that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Especially if it's somebody with like pretty eyes or a pretty face.
yeah.
There's a reason why they only focus on the girl, of course, because most porn is consumed by men.
Yeah.
So of course they're gonna focus on the girl.
But but they're still actors though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just like an actor in pornography, just an actor in a regular movie, they're trained to look at you in the eye and absorb you.
Don't you think it's kind of weird, right? As guys, you would think you would want to watch more multiple women on men than you would want to watch more men on one woman. But
Yeah.
it's weird though, right? Because gangbangs are
Very popular.
very popular.
Yeah.
Way more popular than, I guess you would call it not a reverse gangbang, because Wouldn't that just be one person fucking many people? But I guess it still works.
It's reversed in the gender, I think.
Yeah, it's reversed in the gender.
But because I think maybe it's this. It's also, it goes into like what's it called? Degradation. Yeah, where like they're humiliating the chick.
Well, I don't know. See, I don't know if that's what it is because it's like this, right? It's like when it's a gangbang, right? It's more considered because like the woman is always shown to be enjoying it, right? They're always shown to be enjoying taking it from multiple dudes.
Yeah.
And a lot of men watch it because more men watch porn than women. The women, right?
Yeah, but still women,
obviously that certain kink or fetish or category is viewed by a lot of men.
But you know what I think it is? I think it was maybe like as you were younger, we watched so many, like a lot of action movies always have a lot of men and just one woman in the team.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is. It's like you're used to it.
Yeah.
Because you always watch like action guys, like 3 guys and 1 chick, and they're all fighting together. I think it's more what's it called, normal to watch.
I guess. Me personally, I don't enjoy those.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't either. I don't like those. Those are weird. It's too many penises in the screen, and I can't like that. I'm like I want to see more titties in the screen and more ass in the screen of her than some other guys.
Well, see, this brings me to my next point, right? Because, like I was saying, that version is popular.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find the other way around, right? Where it's multiple girls on one dude.
Yeah.
But those videos are far and in between, but not the gangbang ones. You know, not the regular gangbang ones. There's a lot of those.
I think it's probably because, since it's not really focused on all the guys, it's focused on the woman. Just like I said, she's manipulating the guy who's watching with her emotions. She's liking it a lot, and so you're also liking it too. And when you're watching the guy just ram a bunch of chicks, you're always it's like you're just focused on the one chick getting rammed, not on the others. No matter how much they're doing stuff, it's just the one chick. You know what I mean? Like it's the women are acting less. Like it's less acting, it's less emotion into it.
Yeah, okay, I get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you see the previews of like the gangbangs, you're seeing the woman's very seductive of it. You know, she's like, I'm enjoying it, so you should enjoy it. But then when you see the reverse of it, you're just seeing the chicks going, but they're not really. There's not much effort into it. See, because it's not as light.
Yeah, I see what you're saying about that. I see what you're saying about that. But see, like,
it's weird. It's really weird because like I don't understand it.
It's something you never really thought about, right?
Yeah, I never thought about it.
Yeah, see, I started thinking about it like now because when we were talking about it, because I was like, man, you know what? It's kind of weird because I personally, I'm not gonna lie, I divulge into the one dude getting fucked with multiple women thing, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't go to it where it's like, oh, this is a mega Chad, and he's taking his pick of the harem.
Yeah.
Right. That's typically not what the story is.
No.
If there is a story in these fucking reverse gangbangs.
No.
And obviously, who gives a fuck about a story in a porno, right? But most of the time, it's depicted as the guy is like, yo, what's going on? And then they're all just fucking him, right?
Yeah. He just comes in and it's like, hey, what's going on? And then they're just like, oh, it's my stepbrother, and they start fucking him.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa, you know. I guess it's the situation and what he's in. It's like,
well, situations are always vastly different, right? Because in a porn gangbang, and in a regular gangbang, I mean, it's just a straight up porn. It's like, hey, are you ready? Like, it's always it's always a cameraman going up to a chick and going like, hey, are you ready for, you know, blah blah blah, and then like. She's like, yeah, and then like the first guy comes in, puts his penis in her mouth, and then it starts like right off the bat.
Just right off the bat, yeah.
But see, in the reverse ones, it's always like
there's at least a more effort.
There's a little story or whatever to it, which is I always thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because they're always like, he's like, what are you doing in here? And she's like, oh, I thought I have some friends over. He's like, what? She's
what
like,
are you guys not wearing underwear?
Yeah, some stupid shit like that. Right?
He's like, how come you're not wearing it? His dick is out for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
He's like, what?
They're funnier, yeah.
No, yeah, I understand that.
Like, oh, well, because I guess like since the reverse one is not as popular, they have to force themselves to actually try, and the ones that are popular don't really have to try as much. They just start fucking her into whatever. Because it always starts with it's the intro. It's like the chicks getting there's a whole compilation, and then it just starts with her just starts sucking one dick, and she starts going at it on the others.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, oh, where's the story?
Yeah.
What led to this?
Some people really care about scenarios in their porn.
Because I'll be honest, sometimes I do skip the story. If there is a story, I just go, nah, and then I find it, I'm like, alright, there you go.
But we can say this, since to get back to the point of the internet likes to coddle a lot of things.
Yeah.
Even bad things.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of fucked up thing about it, right? Because like I said before, the internet is something that connects everyone and divides everyone too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because
especially the person if you get into an conspiracy one, it's the people that are manipulating too. Because there's always somebody gaining. There's always somebody gaining from everything.
Yeah.
There's never no one not gaining something.
So I always was curious about this. Is there a central location for it? Is there a source for the internet?
That is true.
I don't know. I've always been kind of curious about it. It's is there a location in the world where if you were to fuck it up, you'd fuck up the internet? Or is the internet just something you can make a machine do?
That is true. I don't know. I don't know about that. No, I'm not an engineer.
So that's one of the questions, right?
Yeah.
It's one of my questions.
But I think that's how fragile the internet is.
Because if there is no, if we can just make internet out of thin air,
what stops people from just making their own?
Exactly. Yeah. And so that means that the internet has surpassed a physical form and can be endowed into anything.
Yeah, and that's where the whole I guess the idea of the spider web.
Because cars produce internet.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot. They have hotspots now, right?
Yeah. Some cars that have Wi-Fi in them.
Yeah, and that's weird. I'm not sure where that started from either. I'm not sure if it goes through a server or if it comes, because I know it comes through a cable, right?
It has to go through something, man. Because you have to think about it like this, right?
Especially through Wi-Fi.
It's not like a laptop or anything, right? Because a laptop doesn't produce internet. It just it can catch it.
Yeah.
It can't make it.
Exactly.
Right. And it sounds weird the way we're saying it. It sounds like we don't know how the internet works, but we do.
Yeah.
It's just
it's hard to explain.
In this sense, this is the easiest way for me to word it.
Yeah.
Satellites.
Well, so it's satellites, you say?
So no, how do that satellites get the internet? Stumped you, you stupid, you retarded, get out of here. Anyways, you're not part of this podcast.
I know it's airborne now. It started in
It started in servers.
Because
it started at servers.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it? It was on a ground location.
Yeah. Which makes sense, I guess, if they just sent satellites out there.
So it's crazy. So that means it has he's right, because it's transcended. I was right. It transcended.
It's in space now.
It went from the Earth to space.
So what stops it from going past the our solar system?
Imagine
an
how
alien.
advanced we get.
No, an alien.
Hotspots in space.
An alien just kept oh look, I got some Wi-Fi, and he turns it on. And it's hardcore BBC gangman going on. He's what the fuck is going on? Is this Earth?
We must be near Earth.
Yeah, let's get out of
Those
here.
men only have one penis. I can't.
Earth porn, cringe. And he just that'd be kind of crazy. I mean, you think there's aliens? Okay, that's a whole different idea. Let's get out of that. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so if you want to make this work, if you want to talk about aliens, talk about aliens and the internet.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of weird how many things on the internet pertain to aliens. Because what do you think an alien would say if they saw our internet, right? What if we're the only creatures in the galaxy, which is really hard to that came up with the concept of internet, right? What if no other species came up with that concept? They came up with communication, but not the internet.
Yeah, I guess they would just look at it and say we've
wasted a gift. You think?
No, they'd just be I think they'd just say it has potential, but it's very full of basic human needs.
It's full of basic human needs.
It's very indulgent. It's not in for like it's not made to like advance humanity. It's just made to indulge
Well,
them.
see, that's the fucked up thing, because it can advance humanity. It's just up to the person who's looking at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, me and you could go on there and learn.
And we could look up right now how the internet like is made and everything, right? But we're not. We're just gonna look up some porn and we'll be like whatever.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, and that's what we are, because we're just like fuck it, we don't care.
Yeah. And that's just crazy, you know.
Yeah.
That's one of the crazy things, because the internet is something that
it's really powerful. It's like a library, a virtual library that you can
infinite library,
infinite.
You ever watch The Matrix?
Yeah, but it's full of knowledge, but sometimes it's also full of like misinformation. So.
Yeah. Well, the reason I bring up The Matrix is because you remember that one scene when Neo's talking to Morpheus, and he's like, "This is the Matrix."
Yeah.
And he's like, just say something, it'll appear. Then all them fucking infinite like guns appear or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly kind of what the internet is.
Yeah.
Is especially if you get first introduced to it, and you're like,
wow.
So you're like, what is this? You're like, well, what do you want? Like, you're Neo, and Google is Morpheus. Exactly. It's like, what do you want to know? And so you're like, oh, titty. And then it's like titty.
And you just see a bunch of titties, just like
whoa! And like it fucks you up, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're like, video games, then you get all this information of video games.
Exactly.
And then it's really just all what clouds your knowledge at that point.
And how you use that information.
Yeah.
There's also the good and the bad. Yo, you can't just block that. Anyways, like, it's infinite power. And also infinite self-destruction, I guess.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's something that can help us
and destroy us.
But due to human nature, it's more self-harming than it is anything.
Exactly, yeah. And I guess if an alien came over here, he'd just be like, we're out of here, man. You guys are crazy.
Yeah, they look at our stuff and they're like, yo, what are y'all doing? You know, they look at our internet, they're like, man, why do y'all do this?
We just dropped you a few hundred years, and now you guys are making crazy ass shit. Like, you need to get out of here with this bullshit.
He's like, you guys can work together, right? What's the point of making this device just to yell at each other? And because
aliens are canceled. That's just like
because think about it, like the internet is such a weird thing, right? Because imagine if we didn't have internet, right, and someone just made it out of spite.
Yo,
they're like, I don't fucking like that guy, but I can't tell him because he's like in Japan. So I'm gonna create the internet, and and then it's like, hey Dave, fuck you, and that's what the internet is now. It's like, hey, fuck you,
Dave.
Fuck you, Dick Slinger, 1997. I'm way better than you.
That was the joke. It's like the first message sent through the internet. It's like I sent a dick pic of my dick to my friend and said fuck you, and I was like, yeah. This is the internet. This is what it is.
The internet is crazy because the internet is helpful, it's loving, it's caring if you find the right communities, and it's also very, very spiteful and hateful and will destroy you and make you feel bad about yourself.
Exactly. Just like a mom.
Yeah? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, man, I think we covered a lot of ground here today, though.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Too much ground.
A lot of ground on that. I'm probably not gonna edit anything out of here. I'm gonna leave this all the way it is.
All right.
I am
raw.
I might bleep us. But I might not bleep us. The reason why might not bleep us is because we didn't know.
Yeah, we were not informed,
and there is context to this.
Exactly.
So if people hear like they use this word, actually we were corrected in that very same podcast.
Exactly.
So
we're good.
They should really be thanking Trey.
Yeah. Trey is the almighty think tank.
The knowledge giver. The thought bringer.
He's the triple IQ mastermind in this whole group.
Thanks, guys.
But yeah, man,
just beat him up, dude. Just press XY.
But yeah, man, it was nice to have you, Chris. It was nice to have you on. This was an interesting conversation.
I love to be here.
This was actually a lot more engaging than I originally thought it was going to be. I knew it was going to be engaging, but I didn't think I didn't think we'd cover so much ground,
Exactly, yeah. We took off, we went to space, then got kind of lost.
Came back down. Drilled down to the Earth's core.
and then we got too high.
We went to the moon and back, baby.
Moon and back,
Moon and back.
and then we went back again.
And then, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I think that's good enough. I think that's good enough, man.
All right.
Again, appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Get closer to
this
the
is
mic.
good. So.
All right.
So see you everybody. Thanks
All
for
right.
joining us. If you watch the whole thing, I really do appreciate it. Make sure to check out the other podcasts. Maybe if you're bored, need some white noise. Maybe you need something boring to fall asleep to. Who knows? As long as you're listening, hey, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
So anyways, I've been Ernesto. This has been Chris.
Whoa.
We would like to see you again sometime.
Goodbye.
All right, man.
All right.
Bye.
Fuck off.